Sometimes you get what you get and you don't get upset. I'm Rock.
And I'm Archie.
Well, our opinions, they might not matter to some, but...
What are you doing in there?
It's a podcast.
Immature, crass, trashy. And those are their good qualities. These poor schmucks are a couple of IQ points away from eating paste. But when it comes to music, sports, and comedy, well, that's all they know. You're listening to
Not These Two Fucking Guys.
Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
So when we were young lads looking for a skin flick, you had to pop it in your VCR. And then DVD porn was like, whoa, this is a whole new world here. Now there's, now you just get it on your, the world consumes it on their computer. And there's so many sites and fucking billions of videos that everyone's like desensitized to it. So now they want to get into more, regular porn's boring. Let's get more risky. Oh, it's my, like Joe Dirt. I'm your sister.
I remember like going back a quick check with a bunch of friends and looking at all. I guess you could say it was a little bit of a dumpster diving, but all the porno mags that they used to throw away.
The nudie mags.
The nudie magazines. And I remember that they used to rip off the covers and they used to throw like fucking bundles that weren't sold and they would throw it into the dumpsters. And I had a couple friends. I mean, I didn't shy away from looking at it, but I had a couple friends who actually went in and got them out. And we would all look at them and like, one friend's like, oh, I'm taking this home. I'm taking this one. Here, Arch, you can have this one. Big cocks. So anyway, that's besides the point. Little, those little thumbnails when you go onto fucking either it's YouPorn or I don't know what you go on.
Never heard of it.
Wait, what's the one you go on? Guysjizzonguys.com. I don't know, whatever.
Whoa. Hey, we don't talk all the secrets on this podcast, okay?
So it's always... my stepson. Watch me whack my stepson. Blah, 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 blah. My stepson, my stepdaughter, like, is this how it is nowadays? Like all these porn, it's just fucking stepson, stepdaughter. Like they could be equally the same age. And it's like, it's the whole fantasy about, oh, my stepmother. I don't know. To me, it's like, I think it's dumb. What a couple, but if the whole screen fills up, stepson, stepdaughter. If you would have saw my face the first time I didn't have to pop in a VCR tape or a DVD player, and all I had to do was fucking Google stepson. all I had to do was go on.
You're saying stepson a lot. It's I gotta be honest with you, that's starting to freak me out.
All I had to do was type in, or click a link. I was like, oh, is this how easy it is now?
Yeah, but like now we're saying our idea of porn is definitely, your taste changes as the years go on, right?
Yes, it does.
You, father of two.
Correct. 2
young kids working from home, the wife working from home.
Correct.
Dog, got to walk that dog.
Preach, son.
Got to go to the store.
Preach, son.
Your idea of porn now is called Leave Me the Fuck Alone porn. You put it on, it's a guy on a couch taking a fucking nap and nobody bothers him.
My idea of porn is a steak dinner with an ice cold Schlitz. Opening up my pants, not to do what you think I'm going to do. So my belly can distend over my waistband and fucking taking a nap. That's porn, son. I'm so fucking tired. That would be porn to me. That's fucking good looking shit. Do you think I want to go see fucking
Don't say fucking stepson again. Yo, Arch,
Yo, talk to me, bro.
what are you doing, pal?
Oh, I'm just waiting for some greatness right now, my friend.
We're going to talk to somebody tonight that actually does it all. Does it all. Got the same name as you, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Much
like
more
it.
handsome, though.
Yeah. Well,
He is the guitarist for Saigon Kick. He's a singer, a songwriter, a record label owner, and he has a brand new album coming out under the moniker Jason Bieler and the Baron von Bielski Orchestra, entitled Songs for the Apocalypse. And I gotta say, that's so aptly named for this period of time. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jason Bieler. What's up, pal?
Hey, don't get up, guys. Just I want you to stay seated.
How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well.
very good. As good as we can be on a Tuesday.
Right. We grade everything on a curve now, the COVID curve. So this is not how are you doing compared to like a year ago.
No.
This is true. Where are you actually located now?
I'm in North Carolina.
Okay, cool. So you're on the East Coast with us.
Yeah.
Nice weather. How you? What is it? What are you looking at over there?
It's like it's actually really cold. It's like about 25 tonight.
Oh damn! Yeah, it's cold, but we're in Jersey.
Yeah. I'm not, so I can't complain in the sense of it's generally warmer here.
You're a New York guy, no?
I was born in New York. Yeah.
Yeah. Where about?
Long Island, Strong Island.
Strong Island. I like it. Cool.
So let's hop right into it. Let's talk about the new album. Now, is it still it's due to come out January 22nd? Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
And you have, just to name a few, Dave Ellefson, Devin Townsend, Pat Badger from Extreme, Clint Lowry, and a friend of ours, Ron Bumblefoot Thal.
The man, the myth, the legend.
He is a fucking legend. He might be the funniest person that I've ever met, playing music, doing music, recording, what have you.
He's the greatest, man. I mean, he's so funny and obviously insanely talented to the point where I feel like someone's got to stop him. There's no reason to be that talented.
We actually we met him when we recorded a demo with him. Arch, what was it? 2001, 2002, 3, around there.
Yeah.
And he was so good, like playing our instrument. They said, "No, Rock, Arch, you do the impression way better than me."
The best story about him was we took a break from recording, and he's by the computer, and I think somebody's warming up, whatever, and he goes, "So I just got an email," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." He's like, "Should I do it?" I'm like, what are you gonna do, Ron? He's like, it's the email is from Axl Rose. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, fucking open it. I'm like, you just got an email from Axl Rose for Guns N' Roses? Obviously led to him being in the band, and he's just a great heart. And we saw him on Shipped Rock, and he recorded our demo, and that's an awesome guy to have, a good, cool asset to have on your album, bro.
He's just unbelievable. Yeah, I can't speak. I mean, to be honest with you, I got super lucky to have all these people involved because, they're all friends. And I figured, when I started the record, I was like, I'll ask like 25 of my friends, 30 of my friends. And, most are going to say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I can't do it, or whatever, So I figure I'll get 3 or 4 of the guys. Yeah. And everybody said yes, which freaked me out in a whole other different way.
That's a testament to you. They want to work with you.
Or it's a testament to how bored people get during a pandemic. I'm not. But I'll go with your first one. But the ability to work with guys like Ron, and it's just I've never been happier in a creative process to deal with these guys. I mean, they're just every time I opened an email or we discussed something, like I was just blown away by the contribution.
Yeah, there's another guy, I believe, correct if I'm wrong, on your album, Clint.
Yeah, from Seven
Dust. Rocky and I are huge Seven Dust fans, so like I saw that name pop up, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
I think we'd have an easier time like who's not on my record.
Not us.
There's part 2 coming.
Miley Cyrus is not on your album. You were saying
it's so funny because there's even more people I was trying to work with. I was even doing something with or talking about doing something with Corey Taylor.
Oh, nice.
And we ran out of time and songs, and I was like, well, so hopefully part 2 will collaborate with him.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Dude, Apology. That the first single that came out.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Really good.
That fucking rocks, dude. I love how you just incorporate all. You're a big harmony guy.
Yeah, I mean, vocal stuff has always been like, that Queen Beatles thing. I mean, I think we all strive to get 5% of that in our DNA somehow, and if we can even get close to that, it's a good day.
No, I dig it a lot.
Thanks, man.
How was that? Was that out of all the songs that came out? Was that one of the first to? Because sometimes the single that you put out might be the last song that you guys wrote, or
no, I don't even know. I mean, all the songs were written kind of they're all brand new songs that were written specifically for this record. I don't know that I had an order in mind because really once I finish stuff, I kind of tend to distance myself a bit before I can even have a perspective. Like I still don't even know what I made in terms of the record, So a group of people that were listening to it, and I think, trying to release something that had, I know a lot of people who were into what I did in the past and followed me a while, kind of were asking for something more riff based, or I wanted to incorporate some of that back into it. And it just seemed to work. I mean, the next song, I think people will be hopefully equally, if not more so, pleased with.
Good.
That's awesome. And I love, again, Heard Apology. It's really, really awesome. It's heavy, but it's, catchy. And like you said, the arch, the harmonies. And I can't wait to hear the rest of them. I'm a big stickler, and I love when we write a song that I love making, like, whatever, when I name a song, it's not necessarily like what the song's about or what have you. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. I mean, you have the song Horror Wobbles the Hippo, which is amazing. Yes. What a great name. Crab Claw Dan.
Yes.
And one that I think you dedicated to Archie directly, Anthem for Losers.
That's my favorite piece of shit, by the way. And the other one.
So how do you? So where do you get the inspiration for the names of the songs? I mean, do they have direct correlation, or it's just like, hey, I want to have fun?
I have a fairly not to me, but people, it's a kind of freaky process where everything comes to me kind of at once.
Okay.
So I hear like the lyrics, the melodies, the general sense of rhythm, and it all kind of comes out. And the thing for me is I try not to get in the way by like overthinking stuff. So occasionally I'll have to go back and I'll go, that word makes no sense, or that's not exactly, I could say this maybe a little bit better and refine it. But for me personally, the more I get out of the way and just let it come out, the better. So when I have an initial thought about something, even if it's not, like you talk about Horror Wobbles the Hippo, when you hear that, hopefully you're going to go, oh yeah, it just has that, it'll make sense. At least it did to me. I mean, and that's kind of the way I write. So I don't really try to get into it too much. And also I like to write in a sense where, like, as I listen back to stuff that I've done a while back, which I really don't do that often, but when I do, I can kind of start to discern what I was thinking at the time, or where my head was at, even more so than I could at the actual time I was writing it. But I don't usually, I don't like to lay things out. Like, I always wanted to be a writer, like someone I respect, like even like a Bruce Springsteen or something, where it's like the songs are so literal and they're so like, I got up, I pushed the clock that was sitting by my bed, I put my left foot on the floor. But the stories are so narrative, and real, and that's so hard to do. So I always like, because people come up to me and they go like, "Don't tell me, but I think this song is about that," and I'm like, awesome. As long as you think that, that's perfect. Like I'd be crushed if I found out like yesterday was about a broken toaster or something. You know what I mean? I don't need to. I think the magic about music in general is just that, it's what it means to you.
As the stereotype us Jersey guys, I am a huge Springsteen fan, and I listen to his lyrics, and then I'm visualizing that I'm down the shore. I mean, I could relate to him more than somebody from fucking California could, kind of, but whatever. But I could visualize myself down the shore. I'm walking on the boardwalk, and that type of writing definitely resonates in my head.
It's an art form. And there's guys that can do that. I mean, like, him, Tom Waits is another one. Yeah. I'm a massive XTC fan. So Andy Partridge is, there's guys who can really kind of do that really, really well. And the magic of it, I think, is the simplicity, or like the fake. It seems simple, but to just talk about a small moment and then describe it right and put that in a song and not bore people. Because if I would just write a song about me getting a glass of orange juice, it'd be pretty horrible. But somehow those guys can get away with it, and it's like the coolest getting orange juice I've ever heard.
Depends what you're wearing, though, Jay.
Yeah, of course. Well, I do all my listening in the nude, so I'm not flexible like that.
Hopefully, you don't listen in your car.
I do it in the park on headphones, but that's a whole other thing.
What are you wearing right now? Just my beard. That's cool.
I'm just wearing pine scent. That's all.
There you go. So let me ask you a question. So, assuming that I know that we all seem to think that New Year comes, January, magically COVID just disappears January 1st. But in a perfect world, if COVID does go away, we could actually get into groups bigger than 20 people. Do you plan to tour for this album?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to do it. I mean, I'm thinking cautiously optimistic. Late summer, fall is probably the more realistic time. By the time, hopefully, the vaccine's effective and we get it under control to some degree. Whether you believe in that or not, it's a whole different discussion. But hopefully, between all those things, we get to a place where people can get back together. I think, late winter, spring might be optimistic, because also the same thing. I'm even thinking from my perspective is like I'm a music fan, but I don't know that I want to go see a show with 1,000 people or 500 people, sure. You know what I mean? Even if someone said it's safe, I'd be like,
yep, exactly.
So I think people, even once the all clear starts to sound, I think it's going to take a little bit for everybody to kind of decompress, but it'll happen. And I definitely want to tour the record for sure. And I'm strangely enough, it's taking on this whole new life so far. Not, Justin Bieber sized, but it's taking on got added some really cool Spotify playlists. And the cool thing about that is like those people have no idea who I am or the whole history. So it's like a whole brand new group of people kind of discovering it. And so hopefully the touring will be really great.
Speaking of brand new people, you have like a unique following, of like asking and answering funny questions.
Yeah.
Like now, either online or either in person, is it just, do you not just get a fucking kick out of these people coming up just asking you these random funny questions? I mean,
I've gotten so, I hate to keep saying the word lucky, but lucky that so far this, whatever people that have gotten into what I do, like understand what I do. Mm-hmm. And they've bought in, and I think they see it as part of their responsibility to set me up for So it's like I think they sit there and go like, okay, I have to ask an obscure, really insane question. So it's developed in this really great community. I mean, when I talk to other people about doing stuff like that, they're like, oh man, but I have so many assholes that come in and they do this or they say that or you start. And if you guys have seen it at all, but I mean, it's like I have to say, like 99.9% of everything is like cool, positive, funny, obscure, strange, Python-esque. I mean, it got really lucky so far. I'm sure, I'm asking for trouble. But
that one
so
day,
far it's been great. One day it's going to all end.
That one guy, you're going to accept him with open arms, and you're going to be like, what?
He's just not going to get it. He'll be like that guy slam dancing at a Grateful Dead show.
Well, that's funny. And obviously, beyond your work with Saigon Kick, that's what kind of attracted you to us. Our podcast obviously about we're in a band, but it's about music, sports, and comedy. And you got 2 out of the 3 nailed down. So if you could play a sport too, you're like the perfect.
I am a horrible ice hockey player, but I play all the time.
Look at that, the fucking trifecta, Arch.
Who's your team?
Okay, this is where this is going to end, isn't it? my team has been and always will be the Florida Panthers.
Okay.
All right, so listen, nice talking to you.
I knew it was coming. Hey.
Well, listen.
But hold on. I grew up there. Okay. My son started playing travel hockey there, and we met all those players at that time. So like Joe Nieuwendyk and Todd
nice.
At that time. So my son started skating with those guys. My son played in the Junior Panthers program and is now playing college hockey the whole time. So there's I can't just jump ship
That's
Gotcha.
fantastic.
Although they make it very tempting to jump ship.
I think one of my favorite hockey players of all time ended his career on the
He
Panthers.
sure did.
Everybody does.
Bieler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, we were. I mean, I used to watch hockey religiously, but you know,
Prayed while you watched it.
asshole. But I think Bieler ended up as a Panther for a little while. That's awesome.
He was with them for that one cup run, like the first year they were a team, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was a goalie. Yeah, it's a great sport, man. It's like violent jazz, is what I call it. And my friend's dad played for like the Bruins when the Bruins were like the Bruins.
Yeah.
And he asked him, he was like, Dad, so what's your favorite thing about hockey? And he's like, takes a pause and he goes, there's no out of bounds.
Ooh.
And I just thought that was such a great thing. He's like, you can make a play, but not like football where you can just tinkle your way across the line and then don't hit me, don't touch me.
Yeah.
It's like, if that there's no escape is kind of a great saying.
I like to ask musicians this because I'm definitely, as Rocky mentioned, we are in a band, but we're like hometown heroes, but
Sure.
Just a little jealous of back in the day, like when you guys were playing in Florida, right? Mm-hmm. How was it just playing in clubs and people just used to come out to see music? And I say this because if you come to like, a show around here, I would have to say the last maybe 8 to 10 years in around the Jersey area, people come to see that band and then they fucking leave.
Right.
Like, there's no scene. Is what I'm trying to get at. Back in the day in Florida, how was it? I mean, because you guys, you weren't in the New York scene or the LA scene, but there was something going down in Florida, I believe. And how was it there?
Yeah, it was really weird because Florida really didn't have a scene per se. Mm-hmm. There was a couple of bands that came out of there, the Mavericks,
Okay.
Nuclear Valdez, Marilyn Manson and us came up at the same exact time, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a pretty diverse thing, and we weren't drawing a lot. We were happening at that time right between the transition. So there was a few bigger bands that were more on that hair band kind of circuit that were doing okay, and then we kind of were caught in that place between hair metal and whatever became of grunge, and we just started doing these shows, and then slowly they went from like 20 people, 50, 100, 300, 400, and then all of a sudden we were drawing like 1,500 people 2 nights in a row as a local band with no demo tape or anything like that.
Wow.
And Marilyn Manson really did the same thing. I mean, it was like, I remember taking people to go see him, and there'd be 15, 20 people there, and then all of a sudden it just caught its groove, and so a lot of times, not necessarily everywhere, but I always kind of feel like when I hear bands say or complain about their scene, I'm like, people don't support scenes; they go out and see stuff they really want to see, and not always. So I'm not saying that but I just feel like people I don't want to just leave my house to go see bands because they're from my town. I want to go see great bands, and pretty much all the guys I've talked to who are from all over the place, every town has those bands that eventually come up and really start to draw. Mm-hmm. It's obviously more difficult now than ever before because I think there's just so much going on. Yeah, that it's as a brand new band. There's national touring bands that can't draw anybody still. So it's gotten hard, but that's how it happened for us.
Do you think you'd make it now if you started now?
I didn't think I'd make it then. So, I think it just takes blind faith in what you do. It's the ability, because everyone, look, there was a time when a bunch of guys were sitting around going, we're going to be a massive band. And everyone around them was saying, no, you're not. And they became Led Zeppelin.
Gotcha.
But that's one out of a million. So every band is sitting there going, "We're going to be Led Zeppelin," or "We're going to be the next big thing." So you have to have a little bit of that belief. Looking back, we did everything wrong, and just happened to get to the point. Like we were selling so many tickets that literally we were playing a show, and Atlantic flew down, and Michael Wagner flew down, saw the show on like a Friday or Saturday night. Took us to dinner the next night, and we were in LA a week later making our debut record. And we hadn't done demos. We didn't have press photos. So it kind of we had played for a couple of years developing at that point, but so it happened kind of backwards for us.
By the way, just to what you mentioned before about Marilyn Manson. He's got one of my favorite quotes ever. They asked Marilyn Manson one time, and I heard an interview. It was like, so how do you know that, like, your song is good, or when you get to a point that you know this is a hit? He's like, just make music that can't confuse a stripper. Don't confuse a stripper, and you'll be fine.
Words to live by. Funny because he was when we were friends. I mean, he was a journalist. He wrote the first articles on Saigon Kick that were ever in print.
Oh, really?
For his college paper. And actually, on our first record, there's a pair of combat boots with flowers on them. Not that you guys have the record, but if you ever happen to look, and he had painted those boots for us and everything like that. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So we all grew up in that same kind of scene.
Nice.
Where do you guys stand in Saigon Kick now?
I'm not doing it anymore. I wish the guys well. We tried a reunion for, do about 5 or 6 shows a few years back.
I remember that.
A lot of fun. It was cool that we didn't kill each other.
Exactly.
So it was nice to be civil. But, I just don't know that it, to me it's, and not for any other reason or not for aspirations of being in a bigger or better band. It's just, I just want to do more stuff, and I don't want to, I'm not ready for the nostalgia trip yet, and having that solely be it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that, you putting out this album just shows that you're still looking to create, like Apology just sounds like you would turn on Octane and hear that song.
Awesome.
Like that sounds, very contemporary and by no means, I think that if you were with Saigon Kick, you'd be, like you said, doing a nostalgia tour or, probably not writing new records, but this has to afford you a certain amount of freedom to kind of do whatever you want. And now you're doing it with some of the best musicians in the world that are actively, wanting to be on your album. That's got to be a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, man, it's amazing, and so much respect for these guys. And obviously, it truly is a situation where I think when you hear the record, it'll all make sense. But I also didn't want to just ask my friends because of their level of fame and squeeze them on a record hoping that anybody gives a shit, because really at the end of the day, even for myself, I mean, it's like nice, but if you're not going to create something cool musically, no one gives a shit that so-and-so's on your record. It's like, other than like, oh neat, so-and-so's on your record. Ultimately it's going to come down to whether the songs are good or not. And I wanted to make sure that within my wacky world or ecosystem that nothing sounded shoehorned or like forced or like, oh, he just put Devin Townsend on the record to squeeze him in there for no reason.
Got it.
And we managed to, I think we made a really cool record. And I'm like I said, in this brave new world, I'm thrilled that people are responding to it so far, and it seems to be doing really well. But it was a success for me in the sense of getting to work with these guys and make a record. So whether 10 people heard it or 1 million people hear it, it's already, to me, been an amazing creative process. So, who knows what happens. Everything that happens from this point forward is just, is a bonus.
I mean, it's got to be a good feeling, though, that all these guys, obviously, to play on your record, it's a testament to you. When you see that, the common everyday fan is like, well, this guy must be a cool guy that all these guys want to be on his record.
The internet's abuzz. Like, why the fuck are all these guys playing on a Justin Bieber record?
Hey, listen, whatever gets if they're mistaken it, whatever gets the eyes to it, fuck it.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. When Rocky sent me out the text that you were going to be on, I was like, oh shit, we got Justin Bieber, and I was like,
dude, my greatest pastime is just waiting for any kind of news or anything to drop online, and then jumping into the comments first, saying, "Oh my god, I thought that said Justin Bieber." That's become my favorite thing.
Well, I tell you what, I like that you have a good humor about everything.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of artists are, they can be a little stale or, But
The funniest thing is, he recorded at my studio in Florida.
Okay.
And we wound up meeting. So it's not even like, and he's a hockey player.
Yes. Yeah.
So, see? I mean, it's a small world.
Yes, it is.
I don't think you're going to go out and buy any records of his right now, but I'm just trying to make a connection here, fellas.
So I was doing a little research, and I saw online that you did like this little almost like a Q&A, like a guitar exchange last year.
Yeah.
Oh man, as a guitar player, I really, really fucking enjoyed it because I'm not so technical, and I really enjoyed you trying to like break down the pentatonic scale.
Oh,
You
cool.
know, to people. And Rock, excuse me, men are talking, so just relax for a second. So
I'll quietly sit by and edit.
no,
Those things are nightmares for me because like it was one of those things where they set me up and it's like an amp that I can't make sound right. Nothing's working. And then you got like these probably 4 and 5 year old kids that they flew in that are like YouTube like prodigy kids that are all sitting with their arms folded, and then somebody's filming it. So as soon as you torque a note, that's like they're going to be the loop on YouTube. So they're just nightmares in general. But I'm glad you liked it.
No, I actually, I actually listened to the whole thing. I really enjoyed it. I was like, wow, because there's always things to learn, and just the way you explained it, I genuinely enjoyed it. And what I really liked is that any of us walked into a Guitar Center at some time and you heard people playing some shitty ass corn riffs, but if you hear Brian from the band play them in front of you, it means something.
Oh man, that was the best.
That was a great quote that you said, and I also like how you I can't remember the exact example, but you're pretty much just encouraging kids in the audience to take steps and leaps. Like you can have this corn riff, but it could be over this type of drum beat. It could be this, it could be that, but it's basically trying to be you and coming up with new music, and you're inspiring kids out there. And I think that it's very, I commend you for it. I think it was very genuine. I really enjoyed that.
Thanks, man. I mean, that's the thing about music, especially now. I think because there's as a guitar player, not to take it too far down the guitar playing road, but there's so many frightening guitar players. But it doesn't mean as much if it's not over a classic song that we all, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm only going to watch a guy play Warp Speed on YouTube for 30 seconds before I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's great. I'm proud of you. But, there's got to be more things to that. So the people that push the envelope tend to be people I gravitate towards and admire. And, I think it's really cool because there's a vibrant underground scene of people who seem to really care about musicians. And I'm not even talking about, like, the greatest thing about doing this record was there's a guy on it named Kevin Scott. Mm-hmm. He plays bass with Jimmy Herring, John McLaughlin, Wayne Krantz, like the underground jazz monster player.
Okay.
That guy is a massive Meshuggah fan. Like, okay, so he's total. And then Clay Cook, who's from the Zac Brown band.
Okay.
Who you're thinking like, okay, like Maiden. I mean, all the metal stuff you can think of, like a massive, not only him, but the entire Zac Brown band are like deep in that. So the thing I've started to realize by getting a hang with all these guys, and like, me and Butch Walker love Barry Manilow. It's like great songs and great musicians. Like there's a point where everybody just goes, no, that guy's a badass. You know what I mean? Like that, it doesn't matter what we all know. I mean, you guys are in a band, so you can go see, you might not be your thing, but you see a guy play country that's amazing and you go like, that dude can play.
Yeah.
And that seems to be like where music's kind of going as to where when we were kids, you were definitely like a punk or a metalhead or a new wave. Those paths never crossed. You didn't eat lunch with people that weren't wearing the same band shirt you had on or what, it's like, now like kids don't give a shit. It's like they'll put on Rihanna, 9 Inch Nails, Meshuggah. It's like, they just want to hear good tunes.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I got actually, I didn't get bullied, but I got fucking like made fun of a little bit. I was wearing my Kiss jacket to fucking and I'm 41. So when I was wearing my Kiss jacket, like makeup was off. So it was like early 90s.
You were really out of step with time.
Yeah. like
because I'm a massive Kiss fan, but by the time they took the makeup off, even I was like, I'd have to step away here for a few minutes.
So you're talking about like. And I love rap, but like Wu-Tang and Biggie and Tupac is huge, and I'm wearing a fucking Destroyer jacket to work to school.
Right.
People
it's a
are like,
time.
People are like, yo. But I wanted to bring this up. My first concert was at Nassau, Long Island, Nassau Coliseum,
right?
1990. Kiss Hot in the Shade tour. And I don't know if you watched them during that time, but I was like fourth row. My brother took me. It was one of the most crazy, like Paul Stanley had put his Ibanez underneath this dripping type of fucking, fountain thing that they had on the side stage. And I was like, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Now, the difference between me and you, sir, is that you did it and I didn't. But what was your aha moment?
Well, the funniest thing you say that is like, I remember my mother used to work at a theater in South Florida. It's called Sunrise Musical Theater, where bands would come. And so, like, really, as a kid, I went and saw like Jerry Lewis and the Mills Brothers and Donnie and Marie and like things like that. And then I was a little bit older, so I don't know how old I was, but 11, 12. And she's like, this guy's coming called, Ozzy Osbourne or whatever. Would you and your friends want to go? I was like, of course. So we wind up getting like 4th row center seats. And it's Ozzy Osbourne on the Blizzard of Oz tour.
Randy.
With Randy, Rudy, and Tommy Aldridge.
Yep.
And it's Def Leppard opening up with Pete Willis on guitar still.
Okay.
And that was my first concert. So, I remember seeing Randy Rhoads. I remember like just being like, oh my, like just like literally physically stunned by the sound coming off the stage and all that. So getting the chance years later with Saigon Kick, we got to open for Ozzy at the Budokan in Japan.
Awesome.
And I became friends with Zach during that week because we were there for like a week and we had the 2 shows. And Zach has me on stage, like behind his rig. And I'm like, I am now standing on stage behind the guitar player's rig for Ozzy's show.
Yeah.
Like, and I can see where I was sitting as, that many years before. It was just one of those Lion King moments where I literally wanted to pause the show and walk out in the middle and make a speech. I was like, you don't realize how moving this is, how important this is. So, I think we all have that moment where you just see something or you feel something and you're like, but the difference is like, I never really gave a shit about being a rock star. I knew I wanted to be creative, be around music, be around musicians, make music. That kind of thing was really where my head was always at. Don't get me wrong. I mean, having those moments where you're doing really well is a good thing.
Yep.
But I think that's why I just kept making music, because it was like, to me, that was like, oh, that's super cool. People relate to it. Like I just said about this record. I always just make music because that's what I love to do. If I was working a construction job, I'd still be coming home making music. I mean, I got really lucky and I'm super appreciative of that.
Gotcha.
But the driving force to me is like literally the best time for me is like when I finish a song, I'm sure like when you guys do, and we finish the tracking or the computer or whatever it is, you hit that bar and you listen back to it the first time when you kind of have it done. That to me is the best feeling for me. Like that, that's what drives me more than anything else.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that to go along with what you say about not necessarily want to be a rock star, but making it, making music. I think that's the level. I mean, that's why we still play in a band. It's you kind of do it for yourself at that point. It's like you want to create, you want to record. I think there's something inherently in musicians just to want to create. Now, like you say, if 10 people hear it or 1,000 people hear it and like it, it's something that you could always listen back to and we've recorded over the years, and everything you think of reminds you of a time and what you were doing at the time and what you were thinking at the time and why you wrote this. Then sometimes, what the fuck was I thinking at that time? So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, but you guys went into a room as a band and nothing existed.
Nope.
And you came out and all of a sudden something existed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's David Blaine level shit right there, boys. I mean, that's.
No, you're right though. It's you sat down to write or make an album. It's like the nothingness of it before is like frightening. Like you have nothing, and like you said, you create it. So that's I think that is the biggest thrill. Yeah, man, I agree, man. I mean, to make music, however you're doing it at whatever level, I think it's its own reward. I mean,
yeah.
What is your next single picked out from your upcoming album?
Yeah, it's coming out December 15th. It's called "Bring Out Your Dead."
Nice. Yeah. Monty Python reference.
A little Python-esque reference there, and that has Devin Townsend and David Ellefson on it.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is another, whole other level of mind fuck to get those guys on a record.
Townsend's trippy. Ooh. Oh yeah,
What a
that's
guy!
awesome.
What a talent, man! I mean, I could literally spend the entire time we have left going through each guy and doing 10 minutes of how brilliant they are in their own way and what they do. But yeah,
Just tell us what the biggest pain in the ass was. So now I'm joking.
it had to be me. Well, that was the funny thing because I was like, you ask everybody and it sounds great and you're excited like anybody would be. And then you make your record and you have this vision and then you talk to people about what they're going to do. And then I was thinking, oh my God, like what happens if someone hands me in tracks that suck or that I don't like or doesn't work?
Yeah.
I'm going to be the biggest dick in the. How can I tell any of these names that ain't right or or not put them on the record at that point? So the biggest relief for me was like to a man. Every time I opened something, I was like, "Oh, thank God!
Oh, thank God!
That's amazing." I was just so worried I was gonna, have to make adjustments. But no, man, everybody killed it.
The Arch, that's how you do it diplomatically. Like, I'll come up with something and be like, that just fucking sucks. You need to just, no. Okay. If you need me.
Or you have to have that awkward conversation. I like what you did, but I'm doing another record, a little down the road that maybe we'll regroup on.
Well, if you fucking rock it.
That's Archie's thing. Yeah. Good. I like it. Now hear me out. Let's put this on the side burner for a minute.
Well, stop,
and focus on what I want to do.
Stop, give it to me in crayon and stop humming it like fucking Oscar the Grouch and we'll be all right.
I like those compliments. Like, of all the guitar players I've ever worked with, you're definitely one of them.
I like that one.
We had Archer say that like at a show or something. Hey, man, I heard your album. Thanks. They didn't say if they fucking liked it or not. They just think they heard. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I've had a lifetime of awkward, horrible moments with people over the years. We get those statements.
Yeah. If say someone that doesn't even know who you are, you met him at a bar and you said, or wherever, and you said, "Oh, I'm a musician."
Is there sexual tension, or is it just like I'm trying to get? I want to get into the role.
Oh, you want to get into the role? We're at Home Depot.
Okay.
You're
looking for some music, so your pants are probably on.
I'm looking for roofing nails.
We're looking for grout.
Okay.
Somebody who doesn't even know who you are, and they said, "Oh, yeah, I'm in construction. Oh, you're a musician. Oh, cool. Listen, just give me one album that best represents you. Just give me something that I'm going to go back on Spotify and I'm going to listen to you right now and I'm going to determine my opinion about you." What would you say to him?
I'd say hang out until January 22nd.
Yes.
Okay. Good answer.
And I don't mean that to discount any of the past stuff that I've been involved with. I just think I'm a late bloomer.
Okay.
But I feel like I've kind of hit my stride and I'm more confident with what I want to do and the choices I'm making now than I've ever been. And I'm completely empowered by the sense like I really don't have anybody I listen to.
Okay.
As to where you're young, you can really easily get molded by managers, labels, peers, and that can be sometimes great and sometimes horrible for your creative process because maybe you're right and everybody's wrong. And, you're the one blazing a new path, but because of all this pressure or because you're on a label who's like, hey, why don't you do more like this Warrant band? Because they have big success right now. Or why don't you why don't you become a grunge band? Or, there's so much pressure to do that I think sometimes some of the most interesting artists are a little bit later in their career because you've been through the ringer so many times. Hey, I'm thoroughly happy to stand on the bow of this ship and sink.
Okay.
But I know it's the boat I made and it's the one I want to be on and whatever happens, happens. But you have to mature, I think, to get to a point where you can do that. Obviously I think the ones who are brilliant from the start are the ones we always talk about. Queen, Bowie, Prince, whatever. Those are the legends that maybe at 21 or 22 just knew exactly who they were and how they were going to do it. But, I'd say this next record is the one that represents what I'm doing.
Do you own your own publishing for everything lately?
Yep.
Like when did that start? As soon as you became a solo artist, you're like, fucking, I'm my own publishing.
Yeah, I mean, we did some deals with the Saigon and Kick stuff with Universal for the publishing, but that's all actually reverting back to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I always make the joke that I am, Saigon Kick is like the U2 of Walgreens, with that ballad. It's always on in some kind of ointment aisle. You'll always hear "Love Is on the Way," and I always, it could have been a cooler song, but I have a really nice house, so I can't complain.
That's right. Yes, and I've heard you say in an interview again that that song bought me a house.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. Look, I say that jokingly because had I sat down and said I'm writing a ballad that's going to be a big hit so I can get a house, that'd be horrible.
Yeah, of course.
I always dug ballads. They're on the first record that didn't do anything. This one happened to be picked up by a station, started playing it, and people dug it. So
yeah.
I mean, why would you ever apologize about a lot of people digging something you did?
Yeah.
So I read a little bit about the record label you have with your brother. Mm-hmm. You guys are still currently involved in that project?
We haven't really signed a lot as of late, just because I haven't found something that's moved me to the core where I'm willing to mortgage a tremendous amount of cash on it, and two, that I can affect someone's career in this particular, time in a positive way. Like most people I say, like, man, just release it yourself and, just build your own thing. You don't need a label, make all the money, yourself. Yeah. Why, I mean, so even though I own a label, and that's probably not a great speech for
Jason Bieler, that businessman, I tell you.
So, I would encourage most people to do that, but but we had such a phenomenal run of bands that I couldn't be more proud of. I mean, Skindred, Nonpoint, Sixth, Carnival, bands that have all gone on and done really, really cool things. So, I mean, what it did is, like, I was in a band for a long time on a major label and toured the world. I was fortunate enough to start a label and get lucky to be associated with such talented bands. And at the end of that whole process, for me, I realized I fucking hate everybody. I hate all musicians, all bands, all labels, all managers. So I just want to be by myself.
Listen, I'm going to make my music. Fucking leave me alone.
I can tell you before we even start, this is never going to work. So let me just be my...
If you need to find me, go to my fucking Bandcamp and I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, really.
Speaking of that, where can everybody find you on the World Wide Web?
I think I have a website under my name.
That's awesome. Great job.
Thank you. I feel it was a big accomplishment. I had to fill out a form and everything. Facebook, Instagram under Jason Bieler. All the usual spots.
Good.
So listen, we appreciate you. We can talk to you all night. We appreciate you taking the time out. Real cool dude. The new album, Songs for the Apocalypse.
Now you didn't rehearse this enough. You were too. Yeah. It took you. I want to give you another take. Let's take two.
Take two.
Jay, you even heard the paper shake, right?
Yeah, he was like, he had to pick up the paper, and he was like, and then he had to do the slur.
Yeah.
I have a list, goddamn. No, okay.
That's why he's a prick. All right, go ahead.
The new album, Songs for the Apocalypse, due January 22nd. All right, Arch, you know what? You're going to do it in your...
Don't eat the mic. Don't eat the mic. I don't even know if Jay can see you, but you're eating the mic. Don't eat. Go ahead. Go again.
Give it to him in your go-go bar DJ voice.
Jason Bieler, Songs for the Apocalypse, coming out January 2021.
I like it. That might be I may pill for that.
Listen, do me a favor, Jay. Thank you so much for taking the time out for us. We really appreciate it. If you happen to talk to Ron, tell him how you doing. From Archie and Rocco, he knows who we are.
Oh, for sure, man. I will for sure. I talk to him all the time, so.
All right, man. Dude.
Hey guys, thanks. Seriously, thank you so much for taking the time and having any interest in the music at all is amazing to me. And I wish you guys tremendous success with your music and just keep fighting the good fight, man.
Yeah. Stay safe,
all
brother.
Right, brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yo, that was Jason Bieler, bro. Funny fucking dude. His shit's out today, man. So all I'm saying is that go download, buy stream, whatever the fuck you do. Jason Bieler and the Baron von Bielski Orchestra. Album titled Songs for the Apocalypse. How apropos there, Mr. Bieler. It's out today. JasonBieler.com. Follow him on Instagram at Jason Bieler. With that being said, Rocco, my boy, do you have anything left to say to the people?
This episode of Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast is brought to you by Archie's weed dealer named Patrick. You can find him behind Rickles and Ampere Park Lane.
Yeah.